SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. The wait is over.
Let's get this thing started.
Go!
Welcome, one and all across the nation and around the world. I welcome you all to episode 108 of the In or Out Sports Debate. I am your host, Drew Willingham, here with a different background. Things are looking a little bit different tonight. The promos are going to be absolutely running wild out here in these streams. I've been saving it. I have been coasting all day, saving it up for this episode tonight. My brother's here from the championship culture. We're going to get down out here in these streams. And with that being said, introducing first, he's one half of championship culture, as I'm representing that shirt right here, as well as part of the blood that runs through the veins of the wrestling realm, a collector of championship belts, and the man who needs to trademark every belt has a story. Give it up for the In or Out Sports Debate's one-time Vault of Fame inductee, the custom guy, Brandon. Guy, welcome back to the show here, brother.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. I'm back on the In or Out Sports Debate. Keyword or. Not and, but or, because everybody has a story.
There it is.
Thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate this. This is going to be an interesting time.
It definitely is. We're definitely going to have a great time out here in these streams. Definitely looking forward to it. And we got to introduce your other half now. It's time we bring him in. The man himself. He's one half with Brandon here of the championship culture, as well as part of the blood that runs through the veins of the wrestling realm. A man with an eye of greatness within the realm of photography. A brother who is relentless with his passion for shenanigans. An avid fan of the Baltimore pro sports teams like the Orioles and the Ravens. A man who will shock the expletive out of me if he doesn't pick Cal Ripken Jr. as the best to wear the number 8 in tonight's By the Number segment. Ladies and gentlemen, especially the ladies, give it up for the 3-time Vault of Fame inductee, brother. Welcome back to the show here, brother.
Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Sexiness is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to the Bay Sox, Baltimore Orioles. We're here. Gotta represent, always. Say hi to my bear. What's going on?
Brother Hugh, with the bear up in the house tonight, relentless with the shenanigans. Mickey Delaney in the house saying hi, everyone. Well, what's up,
Mickey?
There? Shout out to you. They're in these streams there, brother.
Oh, my brother, testify.
Starting out with the shenanigans, already firing it up.
You like that? You like that?
You know you do. Brandon Guy in the house telling everybody good evening out here in these streams. You know, when we start this show off, both of you have been here several times before. We have a thing that we do here to start things off. We got to acknowledge those who have come before us. And that is those who have come before us like yourselves in the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
Man, you took me back. This is why this show was so important, and this is why I am personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man, Drew Willingham, because this has got to be one of the most fun things I've ever done in a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the In or Out Sports Debates Vault of Fame, which you can find here. One of the In or Out Sports Debate brought to you by SIRTOBA Media, which you can find this show on the audio platforms listed here on Spotify, Amazon Prime, Google Podcasts, Anchor.fm, and as well on iTunes. Right here, you can also find SIRTOBA Media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now known as X, and YouTube. I've got to update this graphic, but it is hard out here in these streets. Again, we are here for episode 108. The brothers are here. Brandon, Guy, and brother Hugh Scott are back in the building as we are here getting things started. We got 6 great topics tonight. We got some comments flowing as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let the debates get down and funky, says Sick Diggy out here in these comments. Thank you all for tuning in. Keep those comments a-flowing. We're going to get this thing started. You got to acknowledge first that we are here for episode 108. Brother Hugh Scott and Brandon Guy here. 3 of us battle it out. You let us know here in the comments who wins each topic. 6 topics tonight. You tell us who gets each prize.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Round 1.
And here with round 1, keeping it lit with the wrestling action, Sami Zayn's comments on his increased odds of winning the WWE title under Vince McMahon's leadership were preposterous. We'll start this out there first with you there, the custom guy. What are your thoughts when it comes to this topic? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I'm in on this one. I'm in. So we all know under the Vince McMahon era and now the Triple H does, it's a whole different creative, whole different way of things are being presented. He doesn't have to backdoor his way into things like he did kind of like by accident with the Bloodline. We can see a more unique and a better storytelling. Look what happened in a short time with the Intercontinental title. So I will have to say this is definitely a good time when we might see this, maybe not WWE, but probably with a world championship, definitely. That's why I'm in.
Okay. Brother Hugh, do you agree with his thoughts here? Are you going to go in or are you going to disagree and go out?
We going all in. Well, I'm going in just simply for the reason because, Sami started out in NXT and he was a Triple H guy. And Triple H is a big fan, a huge fan, a supporter of indie wrestlers. And I believe at this time, like, as far as creative, he has a better chance of winning a title. Like Brandon said, I would say the world title over the WWE title. So, but he has a better chance to win a major title as opposed to dealing with the other guy who shall remain nameless, being under his regime. Like, he was just everywhere with it. He was chaotic. You never knew what day it was with him. You just never knew who was next. And he had a couple of guys that he was just kind of stuck on. And I don't believe Sami Zayn was one of them. But I think he has a better chance of winning a major title under Triple H.
Okay. When it comes to that, I would have to say that I agree with the good brothers as well in this. We're going to all be in on the first topic. I think it was preposterous that the man had to sit here and say that he had increased chances to win the world championship under Vince McMahon. Yes, he was starting to get that push at that time, but Vince McMahon didn't really know how to handle Sami's push. And when you put all of it into perspective, again, like my brother said here, you have a person in place now who is in tune with the culture in today's society in all different realms, pardon the pun. But when you look at what he's doing and he's keeping up with each and every aspect of today's life, Triple H is on fire. He's on top of the world creatively when it comes to professional wrestling at this time and has been building something special ever since he's been taking the reins in creative, whether like it be in NXT like you guys were talking about, and now climbing the reins to where now he's running the entire show and everything runs through him creatively. It is at the greatest time in professional wrestling right now that we've seen in quite some time since the Attitude Era, and arguably probably going to be better than the Attitude Era by the time this is said and done. I mean, it's not done yet, so we can't really judge it for that at this point. But in the future, in the next 2 to 4 to 5 years, we might be able to sit back here on this show or another show and talk about the fact that we talked about this at one point. And looking back on it, we could have been talking about one of the greatest eras and living in it as we are talking about these topics and debating them as time goes on. So it's there's going to be shenanigans throughout this show. Brother Hugh is passionate for. We're all passionate for here on the show. But at the same time, we are going to hold it down when it comes to talking what's right out here in these streams, and we are not going to blow smoke up your rear end. Any rebuttals you think?
I think you hit it, because I put in the comments, I think him winning the IC title was the wrong time. I feel like it's like, hold this for a little bit, because I got to figure out how we're going to get you to that, not realizing the rise of other stars. Triple H has done such a great job with inserting people into that main event scene, rotating them out. In 1 week, we could care about this wrestler, and then you're like, oh, I care. Oh, this is who I want to root for. And Sami has proven that he can be that guy. But when it's not that guy, it's like, oh, you got a Sami Zayn sitting over there. So I think that when he's ready and they'll just pick right up instantly. So that's my rebuttal.
He definitely has
supporting.
He definitely has a nice rotation right now, and Sami is definitely in a good place. Give him that IC title to keep him relevant, especially keep that title relevant in general, because you just had that long run with Gunther. Keep it relevant, keep it pushing. But yeah, that's going to become or maintain the workhorse title, and it's going to elevate him to the next level.
I'm looking forward to seeing how it pans out with him throughout the course of this next calendar year. We got a lot of great topics we're going to talk about that the potential storylines within this company can flow. A lot of that is within our show tonight, and looking forward to covering it. But for this right here, you see how the crowd has been popping for him within the past 2 years, ever since his run within the Bloodline. Like it kind of cooled off a little bit, but it never really dropped. Like it still maintained a decent median, but it never really fully dropped. And you're seeing that with other stars too, but with him, it hasn't really gone stale. And Melvin's in the house says, "What's up, fellas? Sami's reign is starting to get stale." I disagree with that. I think it's only the beginning. He beat the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in all of WWE to get this championship. I mean, they built him up and built that championship up to set him up as a springboard with this championship to get to bigger and better things.
Absolutely.
So that's what I think. But Sick Diggy says, under Triple H, everything is running smoothly when it comes to this. The leadership isn't being erratic. What do you think, Brother Hugh?
That's it, 100%. I mean, he's found a way to insert people. That's what we just said. Like, he has it under control right now. So why not just let it run? Just let him go.
I think he's showing us we don't know what we want until he gives us what we want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't know that we want it. Like, for instance, I just clicked on Twitter and I saw Sonya Deville's back. Everybody's on this Liv Morgan revenge door. How do we know we don't want Sonya Deville to take down Becky? I mean, that's another topic for another day, but we don't know what we want until he gives us what we want. So,
Right.
give me what I want.
Right.
Give me what I want. I don't know what I want at this point. That's all. It's sad that y'all do exactly that reference.
Yeah. Yes. We're tuned with that. However, my question is, what becomes of Austin Theory? He was getting the nod from the old man until the change in management. And once the change in management, yeah, he's got the SmackDown titles and the A-Town Down Under team, but they are literally placeholders. They are going to be handing those titles off to somebody more relevant in the Bloodline.
I was going to say that. I said I think it's a bigger story developing with that. My only problem with Austin Theory, if you've seen Austin Theory on the Indies, this is a different Austin Theory than we're seeing now.
Mm-hmm.
He's finding himself in the WWE system, and I think putting him with Grayson Waller were perfect because they're younger guys with social media presence that can do the same thing on SmackDown that R-Truth and The Miz are doing on Raw. So you're going to keep those titles relevant while they're building up that division, because we just split the Raw and SmackDown roster, right? Let's just call it what it is. We just had the draft. You need people that's going to feel like they're going after it. You don't want to keep defaulting to the Street Profits. Yes, the Usos are split up, but you don't want to keep having just the Usos and the Street Profits, New Day. You don't want to keep having that same wash, rinse, and repeat. We have a lot of new teams, and we have teams that are breaking out. And now we can start to see, okay, who's going to be the one to dethrone them that is going to make a big deal to further a story, not just the hot potato, the belt. Because one thing that you don't realize, the Bar had both sets of tag belts, and they were only together, 2 years? And they had a lot of tag runs because it was same thing, Street Profits. They had all 3 belts in less than 2 years, but that's because the belt was being hot potatoed. But I think Austin Theory is in a perfect spot right now. He's going to give you that stellar match. He's going to give you that, oh, I can't stand this guy. But then it's like, that's what he's doing. That's what he's there for.
Facts. I mean,
100%.
Spot on with that, Sick. I mean, you're getting detailed answers with these. Sami Zayn might have a great angle with Chad Gable at the moment. I mean, I believe so too. You know, you look at Chad Gable turning heel in the moment, kind of turning on his team and being that hard-nosed guy. You know, it's like watching Full Metal Jacket with this team at some point. You know, with the way they're like getting like straight, you know, grilled up in that ring, and even behind the backstage, you know, behind the scenes. It's wild. Yeah. Chad Gable, he's definitely laying into it. But yes, I definitely see this feud here. But I think that Sami Zayn holds onto the belt by the end of the feud, though. At the same time.
Absolutely.
I don't think he's going to drop it.
But Chad is so good. Like, I don't know if we appreciate. It's going to take 10 years for us to look back and say, "Dang, Chad Gable was really that good." This man went from the American Alpha, him and Bobby Roode, him and Shelton Benjamin, the Shorty G stuff, you know, competing in that King of the Ring that everybody hated when Burn won. You know, he went through a lot of things, and he's always been the modern day Kurt Angle for having these good wrestling matches. He's been the modern day Dean Malenko, where it's like, well, good God, this guy has a match that makes you say, I'm going to get behind him. But he has the mic skills. He has the presence when you need it. He's going to make the crowd cheer, boo, or feel sorry for him. It depends on what he's doing. He checks all of the boxes. And I hate to say it. You don't hate me when I say this. That's probably why Dolph Ziggler was let go, because they got a Chad Gable.
Hey, that's be real about it, man. Like, hey, he's a 5-tool player. Why not? He, straight up. He got some "you suck" chants tonight. So yeah, that heel persona is getting over. So yeah, definitely shades of Kurt Angle.
Very much so. And Six says he agrees. Tag team wrestling has been on the back burner for far too long in the WWE.
Absolutely.
And it looks like with the way them separating the championships, giving more opportunities to tag teams, building more stories within the tag team divisions on both Raw and SmackDown, it's going to afford more superstars, more opportunities. So, and
Drew, let me ask you this.
What's that?
Did you see? Now, see, this is what I love about the Triple H dust, as we call it. At Mania, were you expecting 2 separate teams to come out at the end?
Two separate tag championships?
Yeah, were you expecting them to split the belts?
We were talking about it ahead of Mania, how it would be nice, but I didn't necessarily think it might fully happen. I was predicting it. If you go back, you can see where I was talking about it, where I wanted it to happen, but I didn't fully believe that it could happen at the same time. But I'm glad that it did. It makes sense because it gives us more storylines and more things to actually want to watch on a weekly basis when you've got SmackDown moving from Fox to USA in the fall, and then in the winter, you've got it, you know, Raw moving to Netflix. So we got different options for how we're gonna be watching things out there, and they're trying to spice things up beforehand. The question's gonna be, are we going to see the Bloodline, you know, boil up before then? And we're gonna get to that here in a little bit. I don't want to spoil it too soon, and we've got the Playmaker in the house saying, "Evening, fellas." Shout out to the Playmaker. Shout out to Tyrone Montgomery Jr. out there checking us out on Facebook and giving us a like. Greatly appreciate you, brother, out there in these streams, as we are here for episode 108 of the In or Out Sports Debate. Shoosh! Please, I can't do it right. My voice a little jacked up. Been a little emotional the past couple of days, fellas. Give me a little bit of a
It's the hair. It's the hair. We're gonna give you a pass.
Hey,
Whenever you have a flaw, we just blame it on the hair because the hair is so beautiful.
I appreciate it. Hey, it's like the alternate pass every single day. I can live with that. And for that, we're gonna let this hair cruise on in to round 2, brother.
Round 2.
Here with round 2, round boardroom. Massive decline in viewership for AEW Collision making headlines. The company should cancel that program. Brother Hugh.
Yes, sir.
To start with you, my man. Lead the charge here. How are you feeling when it comes to this right here? Do you agree with the statement? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I'm going to have to say I'm out. But the only reason I say I'm out is because you already established the show now. It's already there. So let's not go ahead and just cancel it. Why not make use of it? You have all that talent. Work on building within your company. Work on building this talent. Work on building the guys behind the scenes. Work on building creative and coming up with compelling stories to keep us interested. So if they can do that, turn the focus to that, instead of just, oh, yeah, all right, the viewership is messed up. All right, let's just cancel the show. Nah, go ahead and try to do something different first, and you can make use of that show because it's a decent time slot for them. And like I said, they have ample amount of talent. So why not use them?
Okay. I can see where you're running with this one. And the question is going to be, is Brandon going to agree with you here? Do you think that Brother Hugh's on point with this with going out, or are you going to disagree with this, or are you going to go in?
I'm going to say I'm in on this one.
I'm the cook.
So the reason I'm in, if I had 4 cars and one of them, the tags were bad, one of them, the engine went up, one of them, I just need oil change, and the other one, I need tires. At some point, I got to start fixing my losses or saying, okay, the engine went up on this car. It's no use. It's too much money for me to fix it. Let me patch on. Let me just get the other 3 straightened out. If I can get the tires on this one, this pay. If I get the oil change on this one, the next pay. I can get the tag straight on this one, the following pay. I can start rebuilding myself and knowing I got 3 solid cars. The problem is with AEW, it's spread so thin that when you watch one show, they're promoting 746 other things, trying to get you to tune into everything at each time. And I get confused on which one am I watching. Then when I watch it, I don't know the backstory because I'm not a hardcore wrestling indie fanatic like I used to be. And then I'm like, well, why do I care about this person wrestling next Tuesday and they're not even an AEW wrestler? Oh, if I want a backstory, I better go find something on YouTube and figure out who this person is. So that's why I'm in. Cancel that show. Focus on your other ones. Build up your brand. Stop worrying about everything else and worry about internally and fix it. Change your oil, change your tires, get your tag straight, move on, cut your loss.
Okay. I like where both of y'all are going with this, to be honest. I already have a mind made up, and I know Brother Hugh's hanging on by a thread over there, just kind of hoping and praying I'm going to agree with him. And then turn the fire on Custom Guy here because it's all in my hands. It is all in my hands. It is time for me to make my choice. And I'm going to disagree with Brother Hugh. I'm in. Brother Hugh, I cannot sit up here and say I'm ashamed of you because you had a great argument. Yeah, I can't get mad at that. But as we sit here and look at the program we know as AEW, it sucks. It absolutely sucks in comparison to WWE. We are on my flagship show of my network, the Inner Out Sports Debate. Welcome to 108, ladies and gentlemen, the episodes, and we are here for full shenanigans. I just yelled pretty loud. It felt really good. It really did. It really did feel great to get that off my chest about how AEW just flat out sucks as a whole. Now, they do have talent. They have wrestlers that we all mutually like Bryan Danielson, and of course, That's why, you guys had picked it for your story last week, and I had picked it for mine beforehand too. It fits. I like the story. I like the way the song is with what you're talking about. And then right here, right now, it's the greatest thing I could think of with AEW. Because other than that, you got Edge, now Adam Copeland, you got Christian, you got these old timers, Sting. They did a great thing by letting him go that way. But you look at the way they've been mismanaging talent. You got the other talent that's been leaving, like Jade Cargill and now Cody Rhodes, looking like $1 million over there in WWE. They mismanaged them in AEW, yet I guess you could say Cody mismanaged himself because he had a big part of that too. But at the same time, he really didn't mismanage himself because look at him now. He made the right calls overall if you go back and you look at it for him. But for this company, ever since he's gone, the tides have shifted. And especially since CM Punk is gone, let's not forget this show right here, AEW Collision, was created for CM Punk to have a platform weekly to have his own title. And it was going to be, I guess, a similar way to Raw and SmackDown for WWE. We were going to have Dynamite and then we were going to have Collision as our two main shows for AEW. You have a world champion on one, MJF on Dynamite, and you have CM Punk. This way it was starting to look. But then things fell apart out here for these guys and for this company. And you got to look at it and say it was wasted opportunities by Tony Khan and by everybody else out there. And especially you look at the Young Bucks. And I mean, look at this graphic right here. Somebody knew what they were doing when they put this graphic together. Look at these fools up here in this graphic right here. You got Adam Page. You got the Young Bucks. Look at the little doofuses right there. You got Kenny Omega. And you got the biggest doofus of them all. And I'm using a 90s word with doofus tonight. Yes, I am doing it for the shenanigans. Look at his face in the bottom right-hand corner. The man who knows how to wear a neck brace, drafting players the NFL draft. That is Tony Khan right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is your ringleader for AEW. We need to cancel this program. They need to cancel potentially the entire program of AEW if they don't get their act together at some point. Brother Hugh knows exactly what I'm talking about out here in these streams. And even Brother Brandon out here does. He knows. It is not looking good for AEW. 2 years from now, we may not even have an AEW if they don't get themselves together and get their act together real motherfather and soon.
You see what happens when I try to be nice, when I try to be different. Okay. That's it. Hey, I try to give him some leeway. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying. Fix what you have, but the time slot only works when there's no PLEs because he's shooting himself in the foot. Because we as wrestling fans love the Saturday PLEs. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we didn't know that we wanted them until the 2-night mania happened. Like this just makes more sense. Saturday night PLE makes more sense. You don't have to stay up all late if you got to work on Monday morning. If you want to have people together, have a party, you want to travel, it just makes more sense. Absolutely. What's making me want to watch a regular TV show versus a PLE pay-per-view? What's the difference? I don't care if you give me 746 matches of first ever, never seen before, Battle of the Belts. Here's this, the greatest match that's going to happen. New title, new this. I don't care. I'm going to go watch that PLE. I'm going to go watch the pay-per-view. Now, he shoots himself in the foot when he schedules a PLE, a pay-per-view, because his is pay-per-views, they don't be premium live events. Schedules a pay-per-view on that night. But now I can't have some sense of regularity because for 30 years, Monday night was what? Raw. You know what I mean? So Saturday night, he shot himself in the foot. And you already had a Friday night show, but that's too much wrestling, Tony. Remember, we already watched SmackDown, and you want us to tune in for an hour of that. Thursday, you gave us ROH. Why not just do a Thursday show and say you have, what is it on Wednesday, Dynamite and ROH? That could have been your two shows, two brands, AEW, ROH, just like Raw, SmackDown, Nitro, Thunder. Same concept. Kept them separate and said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do every Tuesday and Thursday. And guess what? They would have been AEW, ROH. That's what I would have did. I would never went to a Saturday night. But it was ordered and they paid for it. So let the network keep paying them.
I mean, it was working fine when they just had Rampage on Fridays, the 1 hour show, whether it was pre-recorded or not, who cared? It was still working out fine. And then with Dynamite, it was way too much in the background is what was going on with AEW. So when it comes to this topic right here, what are you guys saying here in the comments? I'm going to see what you guys have got going on. We got some Wrestling Realm members out here. We got the real Dwayne Allen in the house saying, wow, I'm shocked about this one. Laugh out loud. What are you saying out here when we were talking about the massive decline in AEW?
I feel like I'm about to hear it, Nick, on Wednesday.
Oh, you are. He's taking notes on this show. He's gonna have notes. He's gonna have notes tomorrow about this.
You just made the list. Yeah,
Right.
In or out, it's going to be Tony Khan's to improve or to destroy.
I kind of like that. I mean,
it's kind of 2 and 1. Sick. Yeah, it's kind of 2. Well, I'll work with you on the on how to write these units. It's tough writing this show, but I like where you're going with this. We'll reword that. We'll get back to it. I'm gonna take notes on that one. Brother Dwayne can take notes. I'm gonna take notes. Oh no, brother, you about to get cooked, says Melvin Turismo. What he's talking about up here. Brother Hugh did get cooked. Got cooked by the custom guy, and then I came right on in.
But Drew,
right on in.
Right.
But Drew, let's be honest. Let me say this about AEW because people think I hate AEW. I hate the fact that I can't love it because they have the best wrestlers in the world. WWE just has the best entertainment aspect. Yeah. Tony Khan hasn't figured out how to make the best wrestlers in the world entertaining. He has no way of showing us why do I want to tune in or follow up to it. Like, I don't care about the Young Bucks being in charge. That's 3 years too late. When they was talking about the EVPs and they had their, talking about, oh, somebody need a chair. Oh, we're the person to try to figure out how to get that. We needed that healness at the beginning. So that way we could be riding the wave of, oh, this team took the Young Bucks down. They have the best wrestlers in the world. Let's call it what it is. They do. But they don't make us care about them. And that's what my problem is. I want to love AEW, but I can't.
So you got Will Ospreay, the 5-star matches, and still it's like, the talent's there, the technique's there, but it's kind of like when Vince was running WWE and the mismanagement there, and it was turning us off there. It's like the same thing's going on here.
Absolutely.
Some degrees maybe not as bad, and as some other degrees worse. I mean, it depends on which way you look at it. But it's funny how things have shifted. When AEW first came about, we were all hyped about it. WWE was still kind of in bad shape. I mean, Vince was still running it, except for NXT. NXT was looking great at that time. But, the main brand was still struggling at that time in 2019 when you had the launch of Dynamite going on in DC. I was there for that first show, too. That was a fun one. You got to look at how things were at that show in Dynamite. That was a fun experience. We'll have to talk about that another time. But Collision is supposed to be separate with a separate roster, but Tony Khan isn't using his brain fully, says Playmaker. With 5 million titles, Collision should be doing okay as the third show.
Facts.
Three mid-card titles.
Playmaker, definitely another one who knows wrestling very, very well. Got to check out his Playmaker's blog out there in those streams. The guy, be honest. You're not a mark. You're too smart for the nonsense. Okay.
The foolishness.
So is he calling you a smart there, Mr. Guy? Is he calling you a smart? Is that what's going on?
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
Sick Diggy, elaborate. You calling him a smart? We may agree. We may disagree. We'll bring it back on up in here. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Talk about it because smart or not. Dante Hill is in the house, my man. Dante, what's happening?
He likes the sports. He likes the sports. You see that?
Oh my gosh.
If you guys haven't picked up on it, Mr. Guy is not a fan of the sports. We're about to make his brain explode when we get to round 4 here in a little bit. But it's going to be a fun experience. An avid Philadelphia Eagles fan, Dante Hill is. Thank you for showing up there, brother. Oh, yeah, we already saw this one. Said he was shocked. He's got another one coming up. But AEW is an absolute dumpster fire. Unfortunately, we all enjoy a car crash, don't we? I mean, sometimes they are fun. Sometimes they are fun to watch, especially when your name's Tony Khan and You make NFL draft picks and neck braces, which I'll still never let that go because he still had to play the storyline that he sucked at playing in the moment. Nobody believed he broke his neck or messed his neck up. Come on, TK. The real question is, are we in or out on D. Willie keeping those long HBK Shawn Michaels locks from the 90s? I'm in.
100%. All
the way in. All the way in.
We'll have to clip this out, see what the people think out here in these streams out there and those stories out there and those reels. But see what they think. Let's take this to the people and see what they think. But I've already made up my mind. I know I'm cutting it this year. Bruh, the work. Yes, and Doofus is accurate.
Your 90s term.
But the work, if we're talking about 90s, yes, the work on this 90s hair is real. The struggle is real. I'm tired of taking the time for the maintenance. Much love to the ladies and everybody out there with the long hair. It takes time out of your day. Which raises another question. What to become of ROH if AEW were to fold?
TKO buys it.
Right, basically.
Because they need the library. They need the library.
To own the library. And I don't expect them to do anything. You look at how they handled ECW. I mean, it's a different era running it now, though. So who knows? They might do an actual legit invasion angle with the things that are more relevant, like ROH or AEW, if they were to acquire those assets. Who knows? It's a good question there, Sick Diggy. You rebounded from
because then TKO they helped TNA get their streaming deal, right? I mean,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You see what I mean? So they have their hand in it. And that's why I said they would need the library because they could take over the streaming thing that they have. That would be lucrative for them. They probably would make it so it's linked to, you want to know how this wrestler got here? Look at all the Seth Rollins highlights from ROH. Imagine that. I'm just saying, like CM Punk highlights from ROH. They would need them.
I'm just imagining the lucrative deals that could come about with that. That is a good amount of money that everybody could be swimming in if they make these deals happen at some point in the future. Tony Khan's the biggest mark in the business. He's a reflection of everything wrong with WCW and ECW in the late 90s and 2000s. When it comes to Sick Diggy's statement right here. Was that a total
surprise, motherfucker?
Oh, no.
Oh, my brother, testify. You got the right one, baby.
Oh, my gosh.
I lost.
He took it back with that one.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
The rookie of the year? Okay. I like it.
Bro, that's 30 years old now. We are old. Holy crap.
That's crazy.
You definitely old.
We got to get to these comments, get to the next segment before we grow any more gray hairs. Holy crap. I'm on your side, Brother Hugh says Brother Dwayne was on your side when you were getting cooked. When Melvin said, where's that comment at? Melvin said, looks like he's about to get cooked. I gotta find that. Oh, no. Brother Hugh about to get cooked. That's what I'm talking about right there. And Brother Dwayne comes back up in here and says that he is on your side.
Great. Appreciate you, brother.
Until tomorrow.
I know, right?
Was that Allstate? You're in good hands. I don't know why I thought about that for a second, but that for some reason it came to me about being on your side and you're in good hands. Hey. So whether y'all are in or out, it's all on Tony Khan to improve or destroy. I mean, absolutely. I mean, he's been destroying enough. He apparently destroyed his neck. That's why I got to wear a neck brace to draft people in the NFL.
That punch he took, you would have thought that they tried to kill him. I was like, so you've never been in a fight before? You've never taken a punch?
Like, I thought he got stabbed or something.
Right. I was like, you oversold that like he shot your soul.
Yeah, it was worse than watching Vince take the first stunner ever. How bad he stole that first ever stunner. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Looked like a flopping around like a dead fish. Like that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible.
It was.
He's living his dream. He's living his dream. He took a bump. He's living his dream.
He took a bump. He gave some other bumps too behind the scenes. We'll get into that another time. But Sick Diggy right here. Here's a fact: the Young Bucks refused to work with FTR and do the right thing. Okay, yeah, I mean,
I give you that.
Yeah, I mean, you bring very valid points within that one statement right there, Sick. When it comes to that, Wise El Jefe, Stuck in My Mind podcast is in the house. Welcome to the show, there, brother.
What's going on?
What's going on here in the comments?
I don't think that he knows. Does he know that everybody has a story?
He does now.
Okay, good.
He does now. But he is also an avid wrestling fan as well. So glad he could tune in for the majority wrestling show on In or Out Sports Debate tonight. No, I think the guy isn't a fool for the nonsense. He's better than that.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
You got a new fan out there, Custom. You got to make sure you check him out on Tuesday nights, Championship Culture.
Yes, sir.
Not only will I testify, but I'll be getting the table. Okay. All right, D-Von.
Okay, that works.
Hey, yo, D. Willie brought in Rookie of the Year clip.
Yes, sir.
You realize he's taking notes. The way he's taking all of the notes.
All of them.
And for you, I'll bring it again.
You got the right one, baby.
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring in a little Bruce, too.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Oh, with the sensor. You talking?
Yeah.
Shenanigans on full display
The
tonight.
struggle is real.
Brothers, let's get this on to the next segment. We got to take this into round 3. We got to talk about the Bloodline. We'll see what we got to talk about with them.
Round 3.
And here with round 3, the Bloodline will continue to bring in more family members to WWE throughout the next calendar year to create an upcoming civil war. We'll start this with the custom guy here. Let's go back to you and see what your thoughts are. Are you in or are you out on this one?
Oh, man. I'm out. So as history told us, when you have factions, you got to keep them close-knit. As much as we would like to see different family members, we want to see different people brought in, I'm scared that it's going to become the NWO all over again, or the LWO, or the BWO. It's going to be so many different fractures, and because everybody keeps saying, oh, a Bloodline Civil War, Bloodline Civil War, all I keep thinking about is Wolfpack, NWO, all I keep saying is that, and we know how that ended. Keep it special, keep it niche, keep it tight, because for a while, we wanted a female member of the Bloodline. Didn't happen. We moved past it. We wanted Rikishi to come, referee for the Twins. Didn't happen. We moved past it. So I don't think we need members in the next year. We need to keep further in this story, and I'll elaborate when we rebuttal.
Okay. Brother Hugh, how are you feeling about this one right here? Do you agree or do you disagree? What are your thoughts?
Man, when it comes to the Bloodline, I'm all in on that, man. Well, there was a reason that The Rock showed the family tree. And to be honest, I believe it was because he's trying to put his family over. Just the same way Roman did by bringing in new talent, he's doing the same thing. And I believe, I said it before on our flagship show, Wrestling Room on Wednesdays, that Hikuleo, I believe, his contract is up in June. So I can kind of see him coming in. We already know about Jacob Fatu being signed. I could kind of see Jacob Fatu being more of a babyface, though, because I don't know if anybody heard about the rumors or whatnot, but Jacob, they were afraid that Jacob would outshine Solo on the heel side of things. So why not put him on the positive side or the face side with Roman Reigns? And then maybe you can insert a Sami Zayn if The Rock comes in, or someone like that. So I'm at least counting on 2 more additions to this Bloodline storyline.
Okay, so you think that we're gonna see these? We're not gonna see Jacob Fatu with Solo Sikoa.
Nah, let's switch it up. I don't think it's going to happen. Keep the brothers together. Tangaloa and Hikuleo, bring them in. Keep them all under the same tree with The Rock. And then, of course, on the other side, we have the Usos, and then most likely Jacob Fatu. And like I said, insert Sami. I would love to see Lance, but I don't think that's going to happen yet. No disrespect to him or anything, but I just don't see it happen. If anything, they might insert a Sammy or somebody like that down the line.
Brother Hugh, my statement might agree with you, but I disagree with you at the same time. I'm in and I'm out with what you said.
It was the Lance part, wasn't it?
Yes. Set me off with that one, but no, for real though. For real, to be honest though, it's I think that they will bring in more members of the Bloodline, and the way that I put this graphic out was the way that I kind of envisioned how this could go. You know, you got to look at how it's already right now. You got the Tonga brothers right there, along with them right there. You got The Rock probably pulling the strings behind the back, behind the scenes in storyline mode. You know, getting Solo to do this stuff to go against Roman because he lost the championship at WrestleMania. And you look at what we got as the aftermath here. Once the Civil War begins, of course, the wise man, you would believe at that point, would shift back to Roman after he finds out that he has not been the one telling Solo to do this stuff. Or maybe, they get on a big enough of a run to where, the wise man decides to stay with Solo. Who knows? Or if he finds that The Rock is behind it, or so on and so forth. I think at that point, you bring back Jimmy because he'd already been ousted by Solo. Then you've got Jay, who has been public saying that he would, he's already said it. You can go back and listen that he'd be willing to work with his brother again. Bygones be bygones. And if Roman is face and not heel, and coming back and trying to lead, charge against the Civil War within the Bloodline against the heels, of course you got Jay. And if his brother comes around, they can trust each other. They're twins. I mean, I'm sure they're going to work their way back into good graces in that storyline at some point. Then you got to think about additional pieces, right? Because on the other side of it, you got Jacob Fatu, who is a good heel. I feel like he would work out better, if he were to overshadow Solo at some point. Even though I agree with what you said, it'd be better that he goes over there and kind of overshadow Solo if that's the case, than potentially overshadow Roman, when you look at that. So, I added Juicy too, and of course Rikishi for good measure, in the background, of course for shenanigans and background entertainment here for this Bloodline segment. But of course, because we know Lance, and it would be we're fans of him. It'd be nice to see him get into the Bloodline story in WWE. But I'm with you though. I think that it's not in the cards right now. No disrespect to him, it's not like it's in the cards this year. But it's sad because he's only getting older. Like, he's around the same age as us, not much younger. So his window for getting those opportunities or that window is closing. And I would like to see him get that opportunity because we've seen him work live. I mean, y'all saw him work live WrestleMania week. You know what he's about. Yeah, I feel like he could be an asset to the Bloodline if used correctly, and especially with the regime that's being in place right now with Triple H and his creative team. I feel like that would be good, great if they could get enough Bloodline members in there and make this thing work. But it's all on one. You got funds, you got budgets and stuff to work with. It's different now than it was before. Now that it's TKO and it's a legit organization, things are a lot more structured. So they're not just throwing money out to one guy or the other and throwing money to one guy but completely screwing the next. It's a little bit more balanced. So it's a little bit more fair to where it's a lot more of a happier workplace for everybody to work in, as to where it was so cutthroat 20 years ago to where nobody could truly enjoy what they were doing until now. That's the difference between then and now, that you hear a lot of today's and past stars, comment on. So, but what are your thoughts there, Brandon? Your rebuttal, you had thoughts, in the back of your mind of what you're going to come back with. And of course, you heard Brother Hugh speak. So I know you want to light him up. It's time to light up Brother Hugh. It's time. I know you. So
I'm gonna just say this. I think plans are going to continue to shift as Jay becomes more and more his own person and a mega star on Raw, and kind of sort of carrying that show without the title. I said it on the flagship show. You can't not do something with him. He's had every failed attempt because of his brother for each title, right? Except for recently, the Judgment Day got in his way. But if he goes and become a world champion, nobody's going to even want him near the Bloodline. But on the flip side, Jacob could be the answer for Solo, as in if we're going to do a face Roman, Jacob Fatu will be the answer to take on Solo. Who wouldn't want to see that match, first off? But let's think about this. As the bloodline stands right now, they're focused on King of the Ring. Post King of the Ring, what is there to do? Keep beating up Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, keep attacking somebody. What are they going to do? Then, how long can they fight each other? Because if you do a bloodline civil war, they have the match, then the blow off is going to be, all right, I beat you, you got in line. Oh, we still got dissension. It's going to feel like the whole NWO and the whole Wolfpack, the black and red versus the black and white. So I just feel like I don't want it to become muddy where it's like, oh, it's the red side versus the black side or whatever we want to call it because of we're wearing red and y'all wearing all black. I just feel like Jacob is probably the next. We know that, but he's going to come in as a shock factor. Does he help him win the King of the Ring against Jay? But is that going to have Jay and too close to each other too soon? Does Jimmy come back and he just falls right back in line because we've seen it before? We have enough people to play around with to not add somebody else. Alpha Anawai is busy right now with his own promotion. Lance is still not necessarily finding him, but he's still doing things on the indies. Zillow is still coming up in the indies. So those are three names right there that 2 of the 3 have been in the WWE system before. Yeah, they could come back, but do we need them? Because what is there really for the bloodline to do besides, shock factor? Oh, but then, all right, Solo, you put on the Weekend's jacket. I'm not impressed yet.
That's
You don't. Yeah, now that I said that, now you can't see it, right?
Yeah, I can't.
He literally.
So you think that Jay beats Guta in the next round? For this
Absolutely.
tournament? Okay.
Now I ain't watched Raw yet, but I absolutely think so because they want to keep us in that. They want to keep that mind frame of y'all want this Civil War. We're gonna keep hitting at it because if it's Jay versus Tama Tonga, because it's Randy and him on Friday, right?
Randy and Tom. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it comes to them in the final, it's just him, Oos, right? He gonna be by himself. Does Jimmy come back and help him, or does Jimmy cost him the King of the Ring? Because he can't win a title. He can't win nothing in the singles. He's only won a tag team belt without his brother, but his brother made him lose that. So what are you going to keep doing with this man that's keep being over? The fans ain't letting it go. They're screaming for him. Yep. He's quote unquote the next man up because of what happened with the bloodline. And I'm sorry, Solo. All right, how much? I'm going to say this, and I know Brian H. Waters is going to laugh when I say this. The bloodline needs Roman Reigns. Not seeing him, you're going to add these little wrinkles, but the reason I didn't care if he kept the title, because when you saw him, it was great. When he was on TV, it was great. This whole, I talked to Roman. I didn't talk to Roman since WrestleMania. Where's the man? I get it. You taking him off TV, but it needs him for that extra razzle dazzle. It is like, all right, what's next? But who they going to beat up this week? Because you beat up Kevin Owens one week. He came right back the next week. You beat up Randy Orton and at what was the last review? Backlash. And guess what? He's back in the King of the Ring. And he talked trash to all 3 of y'all. Y'all outnumbered him and y'all ain't do nothing. So what's next? Not that I'm not excited about it. I don't think that they need new members to do what?
It's the suspense factor for me. I mean, with Roman being out, it's great that he's out right now. Yeah, I do agree that I would love to see him on TV more. Or see right now, especially because the fans all of a sudden they love him again.
You notice that too?
Yeah, but I would definitely. I wanted to kind of like simmer on for a little bit longer because I want to see who Solo really is. Okay. I want his character to develop a little more. We need to learn who Tama Tonga is, who Tonga Loa is, because they have their body of work over in New Japan. Not a lot of U.S. people might not know about them. About their body of work. So keep introducing them and let them build their story. And let Roman sit out for a little while. He needs a break, to be honest.
And I agree, he does. I'm just saying, I feel like the bloodline is always the best when Roman is there. And
I agree with you 100% with that.
And Jacob, everybody knows the Samoan werewolf. We know, I feel like you knew who he was because the bloodline was so strong. They're like, oh, look, the MLW champion is part of the blood. Look, he's doing it. And he was mentioning it. We know Jacob, we want to see him because we're like, all right, he gonna add another layer. But truth be told, when you strip away that, what is the bloodline really doing?
I mean, how much of a break does Roman really need? He was already taking breaks in between each championship defense. I mean, he was already.
No, he needs one after that. After he lost, I agree. He does need it, but I'm just saying the bloodline story. When he comes back, it's going to be in. They're going to be shifted in the 6th gear as soon as he come back. They're going to go from 0 to 6th gear instantly because he's going to be back.
I don't think they should be waiting until like Royal Rumble or anything that long.
Nah, not for sure. No.
You mean
I think SummerSlam or Survivor Series.
Isn't he on
Survivor Series?
Isn't he on the card or something for?
Oh, he's advertised
right before
for the
SummerSlam.
go home. Yeah, the go home show before SummerSlam.
The SmackDown. Yeah,
he's advertised for that.
We'll
but
see.
Remember, he wasn't drafted.
That's true.
He's a free agent. He can go anywhere, but you know he's going to go where the Bloodline's at.
But it would make sense for him to be able to go between both shows because if you're going on Netflix and he's about to be the next movie star, who's to say he's not going to get one of them Netflix deal and make movies and WWE superstar, you know, the walking legend Roman Reigns, you know, whatever they could spend that so much because these Netflix movies are almost like blockbuster movies. Some of them are better than going to the movies.
As long as it's not a Triple H Netflix movie with a chaperone, we'll be all right.
I know, right? Yeah.
That was DVD days of Netflix. We don't speak about that.
Yeah, don't do that.
It still popped up on Netflix. Don't you deny it. It was there.
Really?
I remember seeing it.
I thought it was only on DVD.
No, I remember seeing that unit. Did I watch the unit? No, but I remember seeing the unit.
Oh, I watched it because I watched everything but that Kane movie. That Kane movie, I was like, nope.
Hey, don't disrespect my Kane movie, bro. That was the best movie ever.
Speaking of wild stuff, Diggy says, "Who remembers the Dudley Boys team? 3Ds was it?" And the headbutt. That's how I saw it. That's how I read it. I remember it.
Yeah, that's true. See?
Yeah, that was it.
That's it.
And don't forget the corporate ministry. They got too big at one point. Yes,
There's too much going on.
Yeah. There's too many people and because it was all right when it was the corporation, it was all right with the ministry. He said, just put them together. We ain't got nothing else to do for them.
Somebody will show up at Saudi Arabia Saturday if Tama is in the finals. The Fatus are coming, says Playmaker. This is a solid pick right there. We'll see what happens. I'm in. I'd like to see some new and or familiar faces into the Bloodline story. Manu, Justice Fatu, Jacob Fatu, possibly Zilla Fatu. That's what Zick was saying back then.
When Zillow comes, it's going to be a game changer. He's going to be what Solo did.
Yep. This was great when you said it was the last part.
Oh my god!
When Zillow comes, it's going to literally be like how Solo debuted at NXT, and we was like, "Oh, this is different." All right. Side note: go listen to Solo song. That thing is a banger.
Yes, it is.
That thing is a banger.
It's up there with the Bryan Danielson song. Come on, YouTube, don't strike us for that. We'll be all right. The question is, can WWE be strategic in how they write and put together this story? What do you think?
I think they can. They've been doing it. They've been showing it so far. It's a 3-year run, and it's still relevant.
Yeah. 4 this summer, technically.
Yeah, 4 coming up.
I was gonna say it'd be the 4th year.
Wow. Yeah, the time has been flying. Doesn't feel like it, but that's how much great storyline we've had in a short period of time. Also, how can they place each person in this storyline? I mean, you have to ask that to Trips because, I mean, so far they've already had a lot of different people within the storyline, and they've been managing it pretty well. You know, even the people who've been intertwined with it, not actual Bloodline members, but those combating with the Bloodline, they've had so many different opponents, so many different challenges. Yep. Even though it feels like Roman has a 6-month break in between each match, he actually did have a lot of challenges that he faced in that 3.5-year span. So, you know, yeah, you got to give him credit where it's due, but...
it wasn't a lot of challenges. It was heavy-hitting challenges. They was people that you're like, oh, credible threats. You know what I mean? Like, it was some sprinkled in there, but he had all the heavy hitters.
Very much so. And we're going to save this one for a little bit because we'll come back to that one because we're actually talking about Uncle Howdy and a potential Wyatt 6 year later on in the show. So we'll save that one. Playmaker, definitely a good question. Would have to come in as an enforcer for Solo's faction. Also, would Haku make an appearance?
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of like asking if Rikishi would make an appearance.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you bring in Haku, you have to bring in Rikishi.
And they didn't even bring in Rikishi at WrestleMania for the Usos, you know, for their battle. So, which would have added more, you know, substance to it. But their match got shortened because the previous, you know, thing went on. I can't remember at the time what it was that went over, but they had they shortened it by like 5 or 8 minutes or something like that, which 5 to 8 minutes is crucial in storytelling during the match. You know,
that's a big difference.
Yeah, you don't think about it, but those like of us that didn't know about within the psychology of that, 5 to 8 minutes is huge.
That's a lot of
storytelling time in the match.
Look at WWE Speed. Look what they do in 3 minutes.
Yes, absolutely. And yeet, says Sick Diggy, a fan of main event Jey Uso. Here's another person from New Japan that could join Solo's faction. Bad news, fail.
Fale.
I never seen who that is. So
I mean, that would be good because now you bringing in the whole what is it, Bullet Club now too.
The original Bullet Club would be there.
The original Bullet Club. He's the last one. Yep.
But he's a little older, isn't he? I don't think
I think he's older. Yeah.
No, that's definitely a good call out there, Sick. That one it didn't come across the mind at the moment, but right now, subscribe now and never miss out on new content.
There it is
on Sick's statement right there, guys. We've gone through round 3. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, but when we come on back, we're gonna get through the segment that Brandon Guy has been waiting for this entire show for him to actually talk some sport. We'll see you guys on the other side of this one and only commercial break.
In a world where chronicles of the past are brought to the streams, whether the content is relatable or completely beyond your realm of life, there is no shadow of a doubt that this show is absolutely full of shenanigans. Get ready for
D. Willie in the evening.
This Sunday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern.
Exclusively on SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look. Hey, stop playing games. Y'all already know. Go ahead and toss him some Willie Bucks. Ain't nobody playing around. Hey, $ D Willie 87. Go ahead, hit him up on the Cash App, and go ahead and give him some Willie Bucks. Look at Drew looking stoic, ladies and gentlemen. Stoic on that $10 bill. So go ahead, slide my man over some Willie Bucks, and we good. That's all I'm saying. We good. How about some Willie Bucks?
Drew Willingham.
In this case, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered a winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text delete.
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the SIRTOBA Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels. Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. Eastern, 10:05 a.m. Central on the SIRTOBA Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool.
Where my soldiers, right side, commanders. Where my soldiers, left side, commanders.
Welcome back to episode 108 of the In or Out Sports Debate, the Trios Edition. Brother Hugh up in the house with Brandon Guy going toe-to-toe with me. Let me know here in the comments. Let us all know who is winning each and every round what your thoughts are. Sick Nicky is pretty much siding with everyone. That's what it seems like. Sick is up in here in the comments. We got both of y'all in the background as well. And we got to take this to Brandon's favorite topic he's been waiting for all night. And that is round 4.
Round 4.
And here with round 4. To those of you out there, back in the day, you used to take shots and yell, Kobe, every single time that you took a shot. This one is for you. Kobe Bryant is the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 8 in all of sports history. Brother Hugh, we're going to start this one off with you there, sir. Let us know, are you in or are you out on this one?
Oh my gosh, bro. I'm conflicted. All right. I have a true answer and then I have a heartfelt answer. But I'm going to go with the true answer. So we're going to go A. Okay, so when I first think of the great 8s, I think of your Troy Aikmans, Steve Youngs, Joe Morgans, Yogi Berras, Alexander Ovechkin. And of course, being from Baltimore, I had 2 of them, Lamar Jackson and Cal Ripken. Lamar Jackson is not there yet, but he will be the greatest 8. I'm putting that into the universe right now. And then, of course, like I said, Cal Ripken. 19-time, but all-star, World Series MVP. Hey, he has a title. Hall of Famer, Baltimore's own. But I have to go with Kobe being the greatest simply because, number one, he has more championships. Championships mean everything when you're comparing stats, especially in sports. He has 3 of them. He had 3 of them when he was the number 8. Then he went and got 2 more as 24. Some people might dispute the relevancy of those titles because he wasn't the top guy at that time, and it was supposedly Shaq's team. But a title is a title. Plus, you also have to throw in that as a culture, his cross appeal was crazy. He was great for cross appeal and marketing and promotion. He had his own fashion line with the Kobe tennis shoes, and he kind of put the industry on notice, dealing with just being in the hip hop industry at one point in time, rapping. Hip hop culture is pretty much pop culture. Commercials, movies, all that good stuff. Sitcoms, his face was everywhere. And not to mention, he's one of the most inspirational athletes of all time. And so I got to give it to Kobe just for those reasons, just because of his cross appeal and his championships.
For the Hugh, bring some solid points up there for Kobe. It's now time for the custom guy to see if he's going to agree with you or if he's going to step into the fire and go with someone else. What are your thoughts here? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I hear this.
I'm in.
Whoa!
So I'm in for a couple different reasons. You took some of my picks, but being from Baltimore, of course, you got to talk about Lamar Jackson. Can't even put him in the same category as in the greats for the 8 because he's just beginning. It's like he's in his honeymoon stage of understanding what his greatness will look like. So I'm not even going to put him in that category. But I'm going to say this about Troy Aikman. He probably was the best or when the Cowboys were actually a good team. Let's just say that. Being a 6-time Pro Bowl, Super Bowl MVP, when the Dallas Cowboys were good, and being a Hall of Famer. Was that enough to make him, in comparison, if we take his accolades towards even Cal Ripken? Nope, not at all. Cal Ripken, yes, he's known for the streak, which was 2,632 consecutive games that he played, right? But we're going to always identify Cal Ripken with that. No matter how many accolades he had, we're always going to remember that streak. So when you say is Kobe the greatest to have it, I compare. If you want to compare it to wrestling, you want to compare it to superheroes, I can do it all day. But I'm going to tell you this. I hate to compare this. Kobe was the John Cena of that generation. If you look at Michael Jordan, he was the Hulk Hogan of that generation. Kobe was the Cena. And LeBron is now the Roman Reigns of this generation. LeBron has taken teams, put them on their back, took them to greatness, kind of what Roman has done. Kobe, on the other hand, did exactly what Cena was doing. He was the face, the name everywhere. You got people in media doing this for Cena, equivalent to throwing the shot and saying Kobe, the shoes, the jersey, the crossover appeal, everything was there. And on top, 18-time NBA All-Star, 18 times. Come on now. 2-time NBA finalist MVP for that. And 5-time NBA champion. How can you not say just those accolades alone, not even mention scoring over 33,000 points in his career, having 7,000 rebounds and 6,000 assists? Come on now. Who can really say they in their sport or in their industry is even close to even touching the net or getting close to that end zone or getting close to that field goal? They can't. So, yes, he is the greatest to wear it, and I have to agree. He is the greatest to do it at that time. Now, is he the greatest of all time? No, he's the greatest to do it at that time. Just like we can debate if Michael Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron. That's like saying, you might as well say, is it Hogan, Cena, or is it Roman? You got to compare it like that. You can't always compare and say, oh, he's greater, he's greater. I hear people get into those debates all the time. You can't compare it because literally that's what he did at that time. Nobody could touch it at that time.
One thing is for sure.
I know something coming.
I know it is.
After listening to the two of you piggyback upon each other.
Oh my gosh.
I am totally aching after listening to all that. I am out. Troy Aiken, huh?
I knew he was going to
Oh, that was great, Troy Aiken. I love that. But you gotta give it to my man here. He did his homework.
He did.
He was spitting off facts. He did good. Brother Hugh, did good with the Kobe and stuff too. But there's one thing that we gotta remember. Basketball is not the only sport out there that gives us great moments, right? Football. Well, you said Lamar Jackson, a little too early in his career to really judge if he's the greatest of all time to ever wear the number 8. Baseball is a double-edged sword because you got the Iron Man, you got Cal Ripken Jr., right? And what he did and the records he set. He is someone who has a World Series ring, someone who has the most consecutive games played that will never, ever be broken.
Absolutely.
Ever. Never, especially with the way the game is evolved into what it is today. There's no way. But I'm not going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to somebody who played baseball in a more challenging era. You have less, things to work with as far as conditioning and preparation for the game. You have to go and take this back to the old days. And I mean the old days like the 40s, 50s, and the 60s. This man also served in World War II for a couple years, from 1943 to 1945 in the United States Navy. In 1972, he had 85.6% of the second ballot opportunity. It was the second ballot that he got voted in. This man was a catcher, the hardest position to play in the game of baseball. You are calling the game. You are calling the pitches. You are framing the pitches. You are one of the most active, if not the most active player, because especially back then, we didn't have these situations like nowadays where you have your favorite catcher. So like the starting pitcher will have his catcher, but then when the starting pitcher comes out, you're going to have the utility catcher come in to eat up the innings with the relief guys to save your starting catcher. Back then, you had your catcher in the entire game from start to finish. And this catcher played on a team that, they were decorated and they had several different stars on the team. They had the highest salary, available, the highest funds available to pay. And that was the New York Yankees. And I'm talking about Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra, a 13-time World Series champion.
Mm-hmm.
And 11 of those came Oh wait, no, I apologize. 10 of those came when he was an active player. No, I was right. No, 10 came when he was an active player. Three of them came when he was a coach, not a manager, but like, a bench coach or whatnot with the Yankees and the Mets. So when you look at what he did in his time, I mean, he was a part of a lot of legendary things, but a catcher to win 10 World Series, to be behind the plate for 10 World Series. I mean, you're lucky enough to get one, maybe two, but 10 World Series as the catcher. Like if you were the left fielder or the right fielder or the third baseman or somebody, and you were just like your everyday utility player, I wouldn't be up here talking about you as the greatest to wear the number. But he also played the game from 1946 to 1963, which is it's 17 years right there. The man played, and he also spent 2 years before that in the military. Just come to think that he would have gotten an extra couple of years had he not spent that time in the Navy, because as soon as he came back, he went straight into the minor leagues and came up within the season. So Yogi from 46 on to 63 was playing every single day. 10 exact World Series as a player. You can't take it away from him. I know Kobe, did some great things. He had 5 championships. 3 of them with Shaq, 2 of them on his own, but with his own team that he put together. And of course, you look at his last game, having 60 points in his final game, and the records that he's set. And, but I kind of, and not to put any disrespect on Kobe, but he's like a clone of Jordan in a way.
He is.
How he played his game, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at that. And I'm not saying that there should be anything for him to be ashamed about for his legacy when he retired, for him to look back on that at that point and say that he should be ashamed on or anything. But to me, when I compare somebody who has 10 world championships to somebody who has 5, in an era where, nowadays it's a lot easier to buy your championships. And especially in Kobe's last 2 championships, it was a lot more available salary cap out there for you to buy your championship. So, and you had Shaq for your first few. So I'm not, again, trying to taint it. And at the same time, you can say what you want about the Yankees because they had stacked players. They had Joe DiMaggio and other players, Mickey Mantle and all that stuff during the time that Yogi was, he played in both eras between both DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle. So he was fortunate enough for that, but you still have to have a great catcher in order to do it.
That's the quarterback of the team.
Exactly. Just like you stole the words out of my mouth. You have to, that is the quarterback of your team. So if you don't have a great catcher, you're not winning a World Series, and especially 10 of them. And today it's even harder to win consecutive World Series because of the way the game has changed.
Absolutely.
But the number one thing stays the same. You still have to have a catcher that knows what in the blank they're doing behind there and more than above average. You don't have to be great, but you have to be above average. You can't just loaf around. It's not like you can have a Trent Dilfer like you would at a quarterback for the Ravens and loaf by in the year 2000 with that defense. You can't carry it around with that type of quarterback. Don't work that way in Major League Baseball. But
it don't.
You guys bring up some very great points with what you said with Kobe, and I knew it was going to be challenged. I knew one of you was going to pick Kobe. I was hoping Brother Hugh would pick Cal Ripken Jr. and that we could all have somebody different. I figured the custom guy was just going to roll up in here with Kobe Bryant, okay? But
I had to do some research. Some research.
Brother Hugh danced around it for a second, and I love what he was saying, especially about Cal Ripken Jr., but you danced around it, Brother Hugh. You should have picked Cal Ripken Jr. I thought you were going to. I even said it in my intro.
You did.
It was shocked the expletive out of me if he does not pick.
You did, but I have to be realistic, man. That's just the way I felt. Like, as far as, like I said, the total impact as an athlete. Like you said earlier, when you shoot, when you go play basketball, or if you just throwing a piece of paper in the trash can, what do you say? Kobe. You don't go to bat and say Cal. You don't go to bat and say Yogi. You know what I'm saying? Just something as small as that. And then also, at that time when he was around, wearing the number 8.
You don't throw a football and say Troy.
you got to think about jersey sales. At that time, you know, hip hop was major at that time in the industry altogether, like clothing, fashion, just the culture, the music, everything. It was major. So like he was one of the prominent players. Plus, unfortunately, you know, everybody else can't do this because, you know, you don't have these sports in the Olympics. He played in the Olympics, so that's worldwide notoriety. But so it's like I had to go with Kobe, and I couldn't pick Yogi because he's a Yankee. So I had to scratch him off the list right off top.
It was tough for me too, being a Braves fan. I didn't want to do it. But you gotta have differences of opinions out here in these streams. And I thought it was adorable, the custom guy talking about comparing LeBron James to Roman Reigns.
You saw that?
Yes, I saw that too. And I was very disappointed because it's not like people fall on the ground and say LeBron, because that's all he does is flop. So fall on the ground and say LeBron.
But they do say he carried the team. Don't they say that? He definitely carried the team. They do say that. That's what I hear a lot.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
so who carried SmackDown for? Who was carried in WWE? I'm just saying. If I had to compare him to somebody in modern day,
LeBron couldn't carry anything without supporting cast that he had to buy along the way every single time. He had to put supporting cast along the way, all three teams, and had a bubble championship.
Oh, so what you're saying is LeBron had a bloodline to make sure he was winning. Okay. Oh, so my analogy was right. Oh, okay, gotcha.
I feel like Hollywood about to pop in somewhere.
But technically, he hasn't had any bloodline until what's currently in the NBA draft option that could potentially play with him. Then you might, for the first time in his entire career, be able to say that LeBron James is playing with his bloodline. Now, custom guy, your britches got a little bit too high. You Steve Urkeled yourself. You Steve Urkeled yourself the way up on out of here. Bro, you just
couldn't stand my analogy. You lucky I didn't go comic book route.
You lucky, man.
If I'd have went comic book route, I would have blew your mind.
Yeah, talking about Capcom and all that good stuff.
Capcom is a video game, not.
I know. I didn't say it.
My head would have exploded. As much as I've gone through the past few, my head would have exploded had that happened. But guys, let us know here in the comments what your thoughts are. It looks like Six says you catch a football and yell Rice Irving Moss.
Yes, sir.
I mean, at the same time, like, out of all the sports, I've only yelled Kobe during like basketball. I haven't yelled like any of Rice Irving Moss catching the football. Wait, hang on. I do remember throwing the football as a kid, and when I throw it, Brett Favre. You say Brett Favre because he would have that over the throw. He would have that baseball throw. You'd be like Brett Favre. You just throw the blank out of it as hard as you could. It wouldn't be accurate or anything.
Right, I was about to say throw an interception.
But when I throw a football, I yell 4.
Oh my gosh! Please stop.
If you throw a football, you might want to yell home run.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Safe.
It's now time to remain safe and take it to the ultimate shenanigans topic, bonus round.
Surprise, motherfucker.
There's a surprise. Your one customer of the entire program. Right there. I gave it to you. Without censorship, there is your entertainment for that one. And when it comes to that, MJF will not be returning to AEW and will debut for WWE at this year's SummerSlam Premium Live event. This one goes to the custom guy. What is your thoughts? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I'm out on this one. Oh man, if MJF hasn't showed us anything on his AEW career, it's all a big work. I think with this whole storyline of the Elite and the Young Bucks and all of this stuff, MJF is going to come back as the shiny white knight and save AEW in the storyline aspect. I think that he's off getting healed up for his injuries or whatever it may be. So that way when he comes back, it'll be a massive, oh, he's here to save Tony, the person that he's saying is paying him a bunch of money, and he can wrap that in his storyline. As much as he said, the bidding war 2024, it's May. We've heard nothing. A loudmouth like him not saying something, yeah, he could be gagged, but he could be saying, I'm not with AEW anymore. Who knows? I don't think that I think he's an AEW born in, because guess what? What does he fit in WWE right now?
Okay, very solid points. Brother Hugh, are you going to agree with his sentiments here? Are you going to go out?
Yeah, I'm going out. for pretty much the same reasons. But to be honest, like you said, he's out healing up. But I believe, wouldn't he have to make up that time? So that would probably run past SummerSlam, correct? Right?
His contract was up after that pay-per-view.
Oh, it's up after that pay-per-view. So okay,
Yeah.
never mind. It is a possibility. But still, either way, I feel like there's an unfinished story there. And like we said before, when he disappeared and supposedly had that whole contract issue or whatnot, what happened? He was quiet about it. Then he came right back and made a big splash. Because why? He's the top guy in AEW. Like Brandon said, there's no room for him right now in the WWE. Like, I mean, there is room. I'm gonna rephrase that. There is room, but he's not going to be the guy in WWE right now. So maybe next year, possibly. But right now, this year, by SummerSlam, nah, I don't see it. I don't see it going. If anything, he's going to return to AEW. He's going to remain the top guy, finish things out over there, finish that storyline out with Adam Cole, and just move on from there. But we will see him next year, I believe, in WWE. Yes, sir.
Psych! No, I got him. You like that, don't you? Clicking in the button.
I like it.
There it is. Nah, man. Nah. Brother, you think he's going to sign a 1-year contract? You think he's going to sign a 11-month contract, a 7-month contract? You think he's going to do that and then show up at Royal Rumble next year? Brother Hugh,
hey, bro.
too late for that.
Anything is possible. I just don't see him letting that storyline go. I don't see Tony letting him go and not finishing that storyline, especially when you ran it for that long. You see what I'm saying?
I think this, well,
You guys want to hear a fucking story?
that story, I think, is what we want to see this happen, but in WWE.
You may claim to be the best in the world, but I'm better than you. And you know it.
You know they dropped the ball with that story.
Big time. Big time.
What story are they building in AEW that's bigger than that? That's his childhood hero, and they were cooking things up until, of course, things fell apart with CM Punk, and we already know about how all that went down. That changed the whole trajectory of that. But looking at things outside the box, you can't sign 14-day contracts, Brother Hugh. Can't do that. And the custom guy's got a huge point when he's talking about the fact that, he's got there's nowhere else for him to really go in WWE except for the fact that WWE always has room to stick it to the competition. If they really wanted Will Ospreay, they could have gotten him if they really, truly wanted him. MJF is a hot commodity. And, people could have argued that at the time that Cody came in, there wasn't really a way to put him to where he is now 2 years later because of all the talent that was already in WWE at that time. Looking there and then to where we are now in 2024, you got to accept that maybe some of us were wrong. We were saying that back in 2022. And are we expecting MJF to come in here at SummerSlam and be, the top guy and be thrusted up into that spot that Cody kind of was? No, I'm not saying that. But for him to come in and basically throw the curveball at Punk and Drew McIntyre as far as the storyline there, and can work an angle with that, I think you could. I really think you could. But right here, right now, AEW, I mean, looking at how much of a dumpster fire that is, do you really think between him going in there, do you think that's going to help Swerve Strickland out? Do you think it's going to help the other talent out there in AEW be elevated at the point to where things are floundering the way that it is? I don't. I think if his contract truly was up and he really wanted to seek the other side, I think that he would have better opportunities in WWE now that they've shifted away from the whole PG era and you're going towards Netflix and you're going towards, USA for your SmackDown show. You're going to have more freedom to say things than you would if you were just on Fox. So if he goes to Netflix, he goes to Raw, the Netflix deal, MJF can say whatever the hell he wants. So, he could say more than what he probably could get away with in AEW. So, am I 100% right with my take on this? Probably not. Will he be at SummerSlam? Maybe in the stands somewhere. I don't know. But actually on the card and participating, I'm going to say just for S&Gs, yes. But I have to combat my brothers here because somebody has to be right and somebody has to be wrong. Let's see what Sick Diggy's saying here in the comments. Says, no rebounds of basketball and yells, Rodman.
That's true. That is true.
Rodman was a beast back in the day.
It definitely was.
If MJF were to sign with WWE, he might get lost in the shuffle. Plus, which brand would he go to? I doubt he'd show up in NXT. No, he wouldn't go to NXT. Cody didn't go to NXT.
He's too big for that. He's too big.
But think about it. What's special about him that you already don't have?
Bull Durham up in here.
I hate up both of y'all. What's special about MJF?
I mean, he can talk. I mean, he's just
okay.
like a little. He's a young.
You got an LA Knight. What else can you do? You got an LA Knight. You got half the roster that can talk. You got a Miz already. You got you got somebody that can run down. You got a whole CM Punk. What can he do that somebody they already ain't got? What is going to be different about him? Because he wearing a scarf. Jericho did that already. Miz could come out with a scarf.
Just
Cody's wearing the suits. What is he going to do?
Me as a fan, I would just personally like to see this, culminate and actually be written the right way.
You may claim to be the best in the world, but I'm better than you. And you know it.
Yeah.
You got that with Seth. You got that with Drew. You got that with anybody on the Raw roster at this point. And I'm just going to pick for the MJF because I want to be the opposition to this. I honestly don't think they need him because when he comes, it's just going to be, okay, he's here.
Well, Sick is the only one letting us know right now in the comments, and I think that he's siding with you guys. I lost this round. I absolutely I got cooked like Brother Hugh did earlier. So, he both got cooked today. So far, I can see that I'm cool with it. I'll let it slide. Like I got cooked. But you know what the beautiful thing about this whole scenario is? We still have one more round to set things straight. It's time to take it to that final round.
Final round.
And here with the final round. This one right here in general, I can only imagine what's going through Brother Hugh's mind right now as he is getting ready to enlighten us on his thoughts on this topic right here, as WWE Creative will hold off on the return of Uncle Howdy until the SummerSlam Premium Live event. Brother Hugh, this one is all set up, juiced up, ready to ride. This one is for you, brother. Let us know. What are your thoughts? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Oh, my gosh. I'm going to be in on this one. I don't want to be in on it because, to be honest, I'm tired of I'm tired of all of the little teasers and all that stuff. Just bring them up. We know who it is now. But I don't like. Where does he fit in the storyline? And as far as creative, where does he fit? I mean, that's something we would have to wait to see. But to be honest, yeah, man, I just wish he just heard him show up. To be honest, that's it. I don't really know, but that's it. That's all I got for that.
He fits in Dreadmere. That's where he fits in, Brother Hugh. That is where he fits in. And Custom Guy is about to lose it on top of that. Do you think that Brother Hugh is right? Do you agree? Are you in or are you out on this one there, brother?
I'm out. So after watching the Bray Wyatt documentary and the reveal of knowing who Uncle Howdy is, it kind of took away the mystery. seeing the QR codes, seeing the trying to go down a rabbit hole, I'm not as invested as I was when the first time when we were all speculating it being Bray Wyatt. Granted, we gotta understand that his untimely passing shifted things, but at the end of the documentary, it should have been left a question of, wait a minute, is Bo Dallas really Uncle Howdy, or isn't he? Or oh, wait a minute, he's not Uncle Howdy, so who is it? Then I would have been more brought into the story. Bringing him in, like, okay, who are they gonna fight? The Final Testament? Who are they gonna fight? The Pride? Oh, let me guess, LWO or Delgado Fantasma? What are they gonna do? And granted, we know it's going to be people that have had nothing to do, but it's still nothing for them to do. I hate to say this. I hope that we kind of slow down with these factions, these teams, these stables, because it's getting to the point, it's almost like AEW where nobody can be by themselves. So I'm out on this one.
Okay.
And I like Bray. Remember, Bray was my guy. I like Bray Wyatt.
Very, very true. And you speak true words as far as your fanhood for Bray Wyatt, and you bring in some very good points. And even though reluctantly he, said what he said, Brother Hugh disagrees with you, but was reluctant to disagree with you, even though he didn't know he was disagreeing with you in the moment. He still disagreed reluctantly, and for his passion of being reluctant in his disagreement.
Yes,
It's time. It's time to side with Brother Hugh. It's time to stop cooking him and start cooking you. I am in. WWE Creative holding off on Uncle Howdy? Yes. They're going to hold off until SummerSlam. And look at the key wording here. It's not till after SummerSlam. It is until SummerSlam. We're seeing a lot of these barcodes. We're seeing a lot of these Dreadmare videos on YouTube. Minute and a half long, messing with our minds. We are probably losing some brain cells as we are watching these Dreadmere videos. But they are entertaining, though. They are absolutely entertaining. You cannot deny it. You are watching this screen right now. It is me, and it is you. And we are watching the screen together. I'm watching me. The green screen kind of does look cool. I kind of noticed right now. But back to what we're talking about. Back to right here. Uncle Howdy, the Wyatt Six. That is what we're talking about. People have been wondering, when are they going to show up? Will they all show up at one time? Will they, Brother Brandon? No. I don't know. But I think Uncle Howdy will. Do you think Alexa Bliss or Nikki Cross or Joe Gacy or Dexter Lumis or Eric Rowan show up to be part of the Wyatt Six? Of course, unfortunately, we will not have Bray Wyatt here, but because his spirit lives on, I had to make sure he was a part of this graphic right here, known as the Wyatt Six. Looking at Uncle Howdy right here. You got to imagine, will he be in the same type of getup that he is in this portrayal of Uncle Howdy? Or like when Bray Wyatt would go away and come back, will he have some type of different demise or different disguise under the Uncle Howdy gimmick? Who knows? That's what we got to look at right here. That's what we have to get geared up for out here in these streams. What do you think? Let us know when it comes to that. Comes to that situation right there. I had to agree with Brother Hugh. I had to say, I think that Uncle Howdy is coming to SummerSlam. He's reluctant. He don't want him to come. But I do, because I'm kind of interested to see where they take the development of the story.
That is true.
Brandon God does not care. He has
he doesn't.
NFGs. That is what he's saying. No F's given. Comments.
I probably would have been all in had I not watched the documentary. But when I watched the documentary, he made it very clear who Uncle Howdy is. And I was like, that ruined it for me. Like, remember the whole thing about when Bray Wyatt came back and he debuted the Fiend? We were like, oh, what is this? Who is it? It kind of felt like it was a whole different person. You're like, oh, that's him. Oh, this is different. You know what I mean? And now that we've known, oh, Bo Dallas is Uncle, I don't want to know what the story is. I'm okay.
Okay. But you probably gotta think Wyndham probably would want his brother to be known
Absolutely.
At that point. At that point, there's no bringing him back. You can't change it. Like at that point, we knew who Uncle Howdy was. I mean, we knew that with the height, the build, it was pretty plainly obvious who it was without them telling us, right?
Yeah.
You know, the
But it was still
documentary
nice to watch.
It's still confirmed
speculative.
it, but at the same time, for his kids, you know, for their family, it's mainly for them to know 20 years from now that the brothers got to work together in the end. Like they were pushing for it for years. You had the Bo Leave and the Bo Dallas and all that stuff, and Bray Wyatt was kind of sputtering around, and you know, now you have what they had. They finally got to put something together. Unfortunately, as the very end, they didn't have enough time with it. But they got to have something with it. I feel like that was just at the end of that documentary, like a way to pay homage to the brothers working together. And you can't get upset about it. And yeah, it does spoil us knowing who it is, but at the same time, it still allows those of us who are the Bray Wyatt fans out there to still have some small piece of closure with the story if they do it right. Triple H is going to do it right. And if there's certain things we can't have around in the WWE that we want to have, those of us who are the Fireflies out there, as long as they do it right, it's like a sequel, right? You don't want them to do a sequel because you're afraid they're going to mess it up. But with this, the continuance of the story, there's a people out there like yourselves who don't, like you, Brandon, who don't want them to do it because you don't want them to mess up the story. I get it. But those of us like me and the reluctant brother Hugh out here, we want to see it because it makes things more interesting. It makes you wonder, well, where can they take this story at this point now that we're at where we're at in this crossroads? And I think by SummerSlam, we're going to start to get some answers. It's going to be a slow build, of course. It's going to be like SummerSlam, the light shines down and he appears, kind of like how he appeared a couple of years ago after his absence.
Like Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
But did you see? I hate him. Did you see the footage where they were panning through the crowd and then they put the spotlight on him? He apparently was in the crowd already and nobody noticed it.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's been apparently in the crowd a couple times, but this time somebody saw it. They had the spotlight going around, and then it stopped right on him, and then they cut it off. He was just sitting in the audience, Uncle Howdy. But and then all these messages, they were saying that one of the cryptic message was this Saturday date or something was supposed to be for this Saturday's date in Saudi. But we should. I'm keeping an open mind, but I'm just saying it's hard to pay homage to somebody, but not to feel like, no, it's okay. Like, I'll never forget that. This is what it compares to. So, WrestleMania Night 2, when that high school orchestra started playing Roman's entrance.
Oh, my gosh.
It sent chills in my body. And I was like, why is this so epic? Watching the crowd just in that moment was like, oh, my gosh. I had a similar feeling when The Fiend debuted and he came to the ring. And I remember saying, why do I love this entrance? It was just something about that entrance. It was like, this is what we've been waiting for. This is awesome. Give us more of this. His name was written different. He walked different. He had the lantern, everything about it, the music. It took me almost a whole year to realize it was the same song. Triple H just bettered it up. And I was like, wait a minute, that is the same Bray Wyatt song. I was like, holy. And I just like, I'm remembering that moment. I don't want that moment to be clouded or my feelings change. Like, I don't want to keep comparing it to them. Be like, oh, Uncle Howdy's here, but it's not like when Bray did. You know what I mean? Oh, it's not like this. So that's why I'm kind of like, I can do without it. That's just my.
I mean, Cody got to finish his story. Why can't we finish Bray's?
Facts. I like that. You got to keep an open mind. And you got to, if this was Vince McMahon doing it, we'd be like, oh, hell no.
Right.
But with Triple H doing it, it gives you hope that at least this would be something along the lines of what, Wendy would want for his characters, story within the other characters that he was about to bring to light within the story they were building. If they can finish what they started that way to bring those, to give those other characters meaning, that is a success. Yeah. And that will be worth it.
I hope Matt Hardy comes back to be part of it just until Jeff gets released.
That would be great.
Because I think his creative mind with Triple H and Bo Dallas might do something magical.
Because that time that you worked together.
Yeah. I remember that whole thing when he said more of Lawrence.
Yes.
It was just how Matt Hardy said it. I was like, this man. It was that whole compound thing was Imagine that he was cinematic before we needed a cinematic universe. So,
Mower of lawns. Well, on that note,
yeah, I
guys,
remember that.
let us know here in the comments what your thoughts are as we're about to wrap things up here shortly. Is this a fucking wrestling episode? Says Ike doesn't give a fuck. And when it comes to that, we're going to answer your question with the one and only response we know how. It absolutely is, and thank you for tuning in. And isn't Matt Hardy in TNA? The question is yes, but the type of question, the type of contract is up for debate.
Yeah, he just over there microwaving something. He just needed a couple $2 before he trying to stall time.
When it comes to that, guys, we've gone through all 6 topics of the show. It is now time to do something that we do at the tail end of the show. It's time for us to acknowledge something. We have to acknowledge the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
And you know it's that time where we have to acknowledge the Vault of Fame inductees. And we have to start it off first with the now 2-time Vault of Fame inductee, and that is the custom guy. Brandon Guy is now a 2-time Vault of Fame inductee. Welcome back to the Vault there, brother.
Episode 101 was magical. Thank you. That's all I'm going to say. 101. No, 101 was my first appearance. 101. I remember that number.
108 is not magical to you, though?
Oh, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's got razzle dazzle.
Brother Hugh's razzle dazzle and his relentless shenanigans is right here with a 4-time Vault of Fame inductee. Only we can get him to remember the name of the show will be all right out here in these streams. Look at Brother Hugh and his title, ready to rock and roll.
Oh.
The fact that he wanted somebody to point out what he was doing all night, I'm not giving him the satisfaction.
What you talking about?
Yep, exactly. I'm not giving him the satisfaction.
Anyway, it's all about the tip work. Go and get your title. Get your nice little tip to it.
Pro wrestling fan.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And every belt has a story.
There it is.
Every belt has a story.
Y'all need to trademark that unit right there. Y'all need to trademark every belt has a story. And I look forward to being part of this. Every belt has a story here in the future, and we'll talk about that once it is unveiled. Don't want to give away too much. We gotta save. We gotta save the surprise for the people out there. The 3 of us don't really know what's going on right now. We'll share it with them in due time. We'll have a special unveiling episode or something when it comes about here in the near future. But before we get to the final word, we have to get to something that we didn't talk about earlier real quick, and that is the breaking news. And that breaking news is this. Next week, we will not have an episode of the In or Out Sports Debate. I know, sucks. Sad times, sad measures, but usually we do this on Mondays, and I have to work the holiday. So during this time that the show will be normally live at this time, I'll be at work, working my full-time career, so I will not be available to do this show. No episode next week of the In or Out Sports Debate. Stay tuned as we will announce episode 109 coming in the following week from that. I know, sad times. We want to keep the train rolling, but we got to stay responsible and stay with what we have going on out here in these streams. So speaking of which, we have to acknowledge the leaderboard here. Look at Brother Hugh moving on up right there. Brother
like
Hugh.
The Jeffersons, baby. Like the Jeffersons. Let's go.
I forgot to mute Brother Hugh. He's actually tied in 4th place with James Brown, P. Alexander Wiley, as he is a 4-time Vault of Fame inductee, moving up the Good Brothers, moving up above Dwayne Allen and Brian H. Waters. They now have to make an appearance to tie you, brother. Brian H. and Dwayne Allen. Y'all are watching. It's time. It's time for the In or Out Sports Debate at some point in the near future. Brandon Guy, we got to get you to talk some more sports, brother. We got to get you wizardry up there, upstairs in the mod.
Oh my gosh.
You know, when it comes to participating in this land known as
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
you need to be on your game, brother. You need to be.
See, that was the razzle dazzle I was talking about. I told you. I knew this episode had it.
I'll give you one last bit of razzle dazzle before we get on out of here, and that is the final word. Y'all know the deal when it comes to the final word out of everything that we have discussed in this program. Start this out with you there, Mr. Guy. What do you have to say for your final word?
I'm just happy that I was able to talk a little bit of sports because, you know, oftentimes when you get to that ninth inning and you're trying to kick a field goal because you need that 3-point conversion to be the first down while the bases are loaded and you don't want to foul out and you have all your strikes used, you got to hit a hole in the one. And I think we did that tonight. I appreciate the invitation. And remember, every belt has a story.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no.
Feel free to clip that off at any time.
Oh, that's definitely going to be great. But I felt like it was perfect to put that at the end of Everybody Has a Story. Like it fit so perfect. And brother,
well, it
Hugh,
does. Every belt does have a story.
Are you going to rebuke what he said, brother Hugh?
Man, I don't even want to say anything.
You just go look at the camera.
Foolish, right? Well, look, make sure y'all follow me at has the third HASTHE, the 3RD, and also at Championship Culture _ on IG. And all I have to say is, you know, the dog that jumps in the water loses the bone that's in his mouth. And of course, every bell has a story. You know, I had to say that. That's it.
between fouling out, okay, between fouling out, and bases loaded, and fumbling, and all sorts of other stuff that I just heard. Brother Hugh making it short into the point, and then jumping in the water with the bone in his mouth. I don't even know where I'm going to take my story to finish this thing out. You know, normally I have something pretty pre-planned. Yeah, I have something.
But when that happens, you say when the dog jumps in the water with the bone in his mouth, you yell Ray Lewis.
Touche.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're welcome. Feel free to use that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying my best to work.
We broke him here.
Yes, sir.
You did.
High five.
Here's his final word.
It was one of those moments where I was just sitting there going, when you were saying your final word there, Brandon, I was wondering,
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
what are you talking about? And I was just like, I'm gonna have to play that clip, and after that, he's gonna have to do this.
Acknowledge me.
For enduring that set of circumstances and coming back up here ready to rebuke for the final time. For the final time as I sit up here and share this message to you.
Stop it. Get some help.
When it comes to learning the game of sports, we love you, okay? We want you to do better out here. If that's not a total
surprise, motherfucker.
I don't know what is.
What?
I don't know
What?
is.
What?
Again, I don't know
What?
is. Now, as we sit here and you wonder,
I am the game, and I am that damn good.
somebody's sitting there watching this wondering to themselves, or not wondering, but saying,
Ain't nobody care. Who cares? Ain't nobody care.
because they do not care that I could not figure out the English within what you were saying, from being fouled out to left out to strike out to touchdown to field goal to tumbling around the left side of the end zone. I don't know what that was all about, but what I do know is that this was fun. It was definitely a great time out here for episode 108 tonight. Another night of shenanigans.
Let me talk to you.
If you didn't like any of that, any of you out there watching,
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
but don't shut your mouth. We want you to come back and give us feedback in the comments like Sick Niggies did. As he said, I doubt that Jeff Hardy can return to WWE with his personal issues.
Okay.
I think they're the only people that would take care of him.
That is true.
Facts. We'll have to see how things turn around for the legend known as Jeff Hardy out here in these streets. Guys, we have gone through episode 108. Yes. I can't do this. I'm going to stack the microphone off the fan.
Oh, Drew, did we hit a hole in one and score a strike?
All right, John. It's past his bedtime.
Bruh, it is. It is definitely past your bed. You're talking delirious.
He's in 100% gump mode right now.
No, we knocked down all the pins, right?
You're so close to full-on blown gump mode. You're going to talk about throwing the ball up in the air like a home run. Okay, that's what you're going to say. I'm going to go outside with my dog.
You kicked the ball for a home run.
And throw
Come
the
on
ball
now.
up in the air like a home run. He's going to go up there, fetch that unit, and we're going to play fetch back and forth in the backyard. Me and Skippy. That's what I'm saying.
That's actually the first rule of
Throw the ball
croquet.
in there like a home run.
That's the first rule of croquet.
That
When you swimming together in synchronized swimming.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I see. I know all the
Second
sports.
hand swimming.
Can you cut his mic, please?
You stop
Thank
it.
Bruh, I think we gotta go to the outro. Ladies and gentlemen, for the two legends right here from Championship Culture, as well as part of the wrestling realm, you got the custom guy up here with 3,000 titles behind him, and the man who does great custom work and has Matt 3 in his photography and the great work he does. Find all of them on the major platforms. Follow them. Who knows? You might be able to be a part of the story where every belt has said story. We've only got one more thing left to do.
Oh, please say it. I've been waiting for this all night. Please say it. Please say it. He's going to do the thing. He's about to do it. He's about to do it.
We've only got one more thing left to do. And that's look at one badass outro. Everyone, as always, please stay safe out here in these streets.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to get your mess up on out of here. Everyone, again, as always, stay safe out here in these streets.